Alright, so I promised you guys I'd be doing some reviews on movies, video games, and anything else I can really review. Well, I've seen 2 movies since I made that promise, so today I'm starting my 4-8 reviews, and I'm going to be doing one every week, and today I'm going to do 2 to make up for the last 2 weeks. Alright, so the 2 movies I'll be doing today are Shrek 4 and Prince of Persia. Alright, so first up, Shrek. Now, when I walked in to see Shrek, I was thinking it's probably going to be just like the other Shrek movies. But that's a good thing, because the old Shrek movies were pretty good. I liked them. The only bad side is, when a series decides to go to its 3rd or 4th movie, it tends to either do 2 things. It'll either copy off the first movie to make it as good as the original, which we all know barely ever happens. Normally the original is the best in a series. Or 2, it'll try to make a brand new, some kind of completely different thing that's just way out of this world. So the problem with that is, when you're going to see a 3rd or 4th movie of a series, you're kind of expecting it to be somewhere around the first 1 or 2. That's why you're going to see the 3rd one, because you liked the first 2. Well, I'm glad to say that Shrek 4 didn't follow these stereotypes. What I liked a lot about Shrek 4 was that it kept what Shrek 1, 2, and 3 did so well, yet it's kind of its own movie in its own right. The movie starts out and Shrek is completely tired of putting up with his family. He hates being the father who has to, care for the kids and do all that. So he wants to be an ogre again. He wants to be, big and scary again. He hates the family life. So he makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin tells him, you can be an ogre for a day, as long as I can have another day in your life. So what happens is, he accepts this deal, and he turns into an ogre. Well, not really turns into an ogre, but becomes the ogre that he was before he got married all over again. He's enjoying himself, he's scaring the village people, all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, Rumpelstiltskin takes his end of the deal and goes back to when Shrek was born and makes it so that he was never born. So basically what you get from this is, the entire movie, Shrek is trying to rekindle his friendships with all his friends because nobody remembers who he is because he's never been born. Now, I might think that plot seems kind of lame, but what Shrek 4 did well is that it was actually a very serious movie. It was more serious than the other 3. It was the whole movie itself, the plot thickened as it went, and it was a very deep movie. It was even more deep than the other Shrek movies. But at the same time, even though the plot is really involved, it keeps the wacky tackiness that we all love about Shrek. All the stupid jokes that Donkey and Shrek make. And the good thing about the movie is that Shrek gets to meet Donkey all over again, and that's just hilarious. So in conclusion, I would say definitely see Shrek 4. If you liked the other Shrek movies, you'll like this one. It's a little bit more in-depth with the plot, but it keeps the funny and all the good jokes that the first ones had. So I definitely give it a thumbs up. Now, from the girls' side of view, because I'm taking my girlfriend to all these movies, and we're actually both trying to digest the movie. That way we get a guy's version and we get a girl's version. Because we all know that guys and girls think differently about movies. Well, this is one of those movies, especially with Shrek. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're a guy or a girl. It's kind of the same thing. So she basically agreed with me that it's a good movie, and that she also enjoyed the plot, and it was funny for both male and female. Alright, so that's 2 thumbs up for Shrek, and today we decided to go see Prince of Persia. Now, when I first saw Prince of Persia was being made into a movie from the video game, 2 things popped in my head. The first one was, Prince of Persia into a movie. Awesome! The second thing I thought was, Prince of Persia into a movie. What? See, the problem is, when directors try to make movies out of things that weren't movies first, it's kind of hit or miss. We all know that when movies become video games, good 80% of the time they're terrible. Well, that's not always the same when video games are turned into movies, but you kind of get my point here. It's hit or miss a lot of the times. Well, I'm glad to say that Prince of Persia was a great movie. If anyone enjoyed the games, if anyone even played the games, I would suggest you go see this movie. What's really cool about Prince of Persia is that it actually takes a lot of what the video game kind of entailed about the Prince of Persia. First off, just like in all the video games, the princess and the prince hate each other from the beginning. You know, they're always fighting, and it's always cool to see, you know, in the games they're always fighting at first, but then at the end they always get together, and I wanted them to keep that throughout the movie, and they did. It was very good keeping with the video game. Also, if anyone's played the Prince of Persia games, you know what Prince of Persia is about. He's about jumping on walls, all the parkour stuff. He's always jumping, getting away from the guards, jumping across, you know, all sorts of stuff. Well, what's cool is that the movie actually did that a lot better than I thought it would. I was thinking maybe one scene where he's running away from the guards and he happens to jump up a building and maybe climbs up a few things and then he's away from the guards, and wow, that was cool. But actually there's a lot of different scenes in the movie, like he's jumping around fighting things, and it's really good. It was really entertaining. The fight scenes in the movie are also really cool. I mean, almost everything about this movie was really cool. The plot was great, and it stayed true to what the Prince of Persia was supposed to be in the video games. And plus the fighting and the directing, I mean, it was all just really good. It's actually a pretty long movie, but it does keep you going throughout the entire movie. There's no boring parts in the movie. And one other thing that I really like about the movie is when I saw the previews for it, I thought that most of the movie would be about the princess and the prince. Just them, you know, their relationship together as they fight whatever they're fighting. Well, the truth is, there's a lot of really cool dynamic characters in Prince of Persia. And I don't want to give it away, but there was a lot of different characters that I really liked. I wouldn't say that my favorite character was the prince or the princess, which, by the way, I'm starting to think is a queen. I don't really know, just watch the movie. But yeah, you're going to enjoy most of this movie. You're going to enjoy... I really can't think of anything bad that was in this movie at all. It kept me entertained throughout the entire movie, and I definitely give it a thumbs up. And as for the lady side, basically the prince is hot, and the action was cool. Yeah. Ladies really do see movies differently than guys. Or maybe not. I mean, Prince was good looking. And the action was cool. I feel like I'm a little bit more in depth than she is, though. Alright, so that's it for my 2 movie reviews of today, and if you guys have anything that you want me to review, including games, other movies, maybe toasters, I don't know, make sure to leave a comment below, and look forward for more of these movie reviews. I should be doing one every Saturday. Alright.